One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.
Do you also have any type of formal structure that you keep either on paper or on your computer where you track on advancing administrators for jobs you may have open now or in the future?
I wouldn't call it a formal list, but there's people that you meet and people that you hear about from colleagues that you keep track of where they're going. I mean, if you think about college athletics, I mean, it's all about relationships. Going back to when Homer Rice was, was the legend back then. And then if you think about the regime, like Mike Alden, Joe Castiglione, Gene Smith, Dan Guerrero, like Bob Stoll, all the people that work for them that have moved on to be ADs, and you talk to them about the people who work for them, and I worked for Bob Stoll and Mike Alden, so a lot of the people I work with have moved up. So it's all about people. So those are the people you trust when you're looking to fill a position, and people that are on their staff that you may be able to hire someday. If you look at the next generation of the leaders in athletics, I mean, you have Ross Bjork, Greg Byrne, Scott Strickland, Scott Barnes, Jim Phillips, like Kirby Hocutt, Mark Coyle. Those people are like the next leaders in this industry, and you talk to them, and people that have worked for them, you may hire. You meet someone at a conference, you meet someone at the Final Four that helps you, find someone that's got strengths that can help be on your staff. You keep track of them. I don't keep a list on my computer, but you always keep track of the names, whether you write them down or you keep a business card when you meet them, of people that someday could be an asset to an organization, that hire someone that can help you be a better leader. And so I do keep track of them that way, but it's not in a formal list on a computer.
Do you recall being in that category? I mean, certainly as you came up through the business, and obviously you were the number 2 at UTEP, do you recall how you used to keep in touch with ADs around the nation when you yourself were an advancing leader, and some solid strategies on that front?
I did. Every time I went to NACDA, and I learned this from Mike Alden. Every time I went to NACDA, I would introduce myself to different ADs. They'd give me their card. I'd always drop them a note after the conference. And when I'd seen the Final Four, I'd go up and reintroduce myself or say hello to them. I'd send it, maybe send an email throughout the year to touch base with them. And, one of the ones I really remember that is Gene Smith. I met him when I was working in Santa Clara. He was on the treadmill next to me in Atlanta. I met him. And the last time I saw Gene Smith was when I worked at Missouri, and they came for a football game. And I actually reintroduced myself because I met him there. And ever since that, he knows who I am. I talk to him. If I needed something, I can call him. But I've always tried to continue building a network of the ADs when I was coming up the ranks, and now the people who I used to, stay in touch with have actually been really helpful for me in my career, and also for recommending people to be on my staff.
Do you think any of those strategies change now, or have changed with so much social media at the fingertips of all of us, but certainly the younger generation of administrators?
It might have changed a little bit because they rely on social media a little bit more. But I'll tell you, this business, if you think about how great college athletics is, it's such a small industry where everybody is so close-knit that the relationship aspect is the most important thing in this industry. And I think that the contact, whether it's a phone call, an email, or when you bump into them at the institute, or you bump into them at the NACDA, that's really about contact. But I think keeping track of what they accomplish. I mean, things like the D1 ticker, and when and other news wires that come out, when you get to see stories, you get to learn about things that are happening with the young up and comers, and also the current ADs and the people who really paved the road there. So it's really about information and keeping track of the great things that are happening that people are accomplishing.
What about skill set wise, and your personal skill set is certainly centered around fundraising and relationship building and revenue generation, and that's obviously super crucial still in today's landscape. But looking back 10 years ago, what are the key changes you see on the types of skill sets that are needed to excel in the industry, and or niche skill sets that are more important today than they have been?
I think the revenue generation and the fundraising is still probably number one from my perspective. Even even the top schools still have to generate revenue, like Martin German and Ohio State. I mean, they still generate revenue at Ohio State, even though they have a huge budget. But I think having someone at home in terms of that can help manage the day-to-day operations when I'm on the office a lot is critical. I know from my standpoint, we just hired Josh Brooks to, he came in over to athletics as a deputy AD, and so now I'm out of the office. He's managing all the day-to-day stuff of the department, which makes it easier to keep track of everything. We have a guy at home that you can trust to do that. So he's done a good job with that, and I know that when you meet people, certain people have to complement your strengths or weaknesses. So I know what my strengths are, I know what my weaknesses are. So I try and get the people that I meet that can help me build the staff and help me run the department that, offset my weaknesses.
And that's today's One Question, brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. One Question is designed to give D1 Ticker subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences. One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.